Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Max Rambles, Rants, about whatever, man. And, I've been thinking about it. I let it gestate for a few days. I let my thoughts percolate. But it is time to talk about Halo Campaign Evolved, the new game for PlayStation 5. It's on other platforms as well, but I do feel like the bulk of the conversation has been about Halo going multi-platform. The flagship, yes, I would say the crown jewel in the Xbox Live and the Xbox, library. However you want to do it. I've talked about Halo up and down, left and right. I'm a lifelong Halo fan. I've played Halo since I was 10 years old or something like that. We don't have to get into that today, but what we will talk about is, I've made a couple of videos now about Xbox as a brand, the way it is changing, talking about Xbox is dead, and the way just the general gaming landscape is changing. So I've seen some interviews, I've been reading about, absorbing everyone's thoughts about this change and, the current state of Xbox in the year 2025 as we go into the second half of this decade and moving forward into the future. The uncertainty of video games in the console space, because it sounds like the next Xbox will be more PC-like, which is not something I'm inherently opposed to. In this way, they were saying that, you can expect some PlayStation, quote-unquote, exclusives that run on PC to work on this next-gen Xbox, bringing us full circle and basically meaning, you will be able to play, Spider-Man 2 on an Xbox, but it's because this next Xbox will probably be somewhere between a PC and a console. And consoles are already just rigidly produced PCs. They're designed to work within that framework, so everybody can make this games run perfectly on this hardware that's the same for basically everybody, aside from the fact that there's the Series S and the Series X, which I think has been speaking to some of the friction. A lot of the games that are on Xbox have struggled, like Baldur's Gate was famously struggling to run on the Series S because it has, split screen co-op and all these bells and whistles. So we're here. Xbox is saying in interviews, people who work there, our competition isn't PlayStation or Nintendo. Our competition is, the movie theater. Our competition is the phone in your pocket. It's YouTube. It's everything. Everybody's trying to vie for your time. And this is true. The way hobbies have evolved to this point of just constantly, I just watched a video about how a lot of people are watching movies as background noise while they look at their phone. And so they call them second screen experiences, right? So I think games are also evolving in that way where, people aren't just gaming. They're doing other things. They might have a movie on in the background, a TV show, a YouTube, a podcast. They're talking to their friends while they're playing a game, or they're talking to their friends while watching a movie, or this, that, or that. So the changing landscape of hobbies is one aspect of it. But I do think a little bit of it is nostalgia for an era that's gone by, which is like not to say that things were perfect back in the day, but I do think, having lived through both eras now, there are aspects, in a perfect world, we'd live somewhere in between the two. But we're kind of giving up things such as like physical media in favor of convenience. And now that convenience is quickly getting expensive, and this is going to push people back to piracy. So when we look at things like Game Pass, they jacked up the price. So it's quite expensive now and probably will only continue to go up. And the idea is this is how, the Xbox business model is going to be. They're going to sell you some boxes, but the bulk of their money is going to be coming from Game Pass subscriptions. That does seem to be the model going forward. And I guess the way I'm looking at it as a lifelong Halo fan, I'm glad, some people will get to experience Halo for the first time, but I do have some issues with the way they're doing it, in rumors that they're using AI generative stuff to help develop these new Halo games. And also, let's take a look at this just from a purely, okay, finally some people who are lifelong diehard PlayStation fans would never touch Halo unless it was coming to PlayStation. This is going to be their first chance to play Halo 1. A great game. but a game that hasn't especially aged well, especially the campaign. So in efforts to go back, I do think that they could have gone more of a Dead Space remake where they touched up, and maybe this is the case, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like they're doing the same thing they did for the original Halo remake back in, I don't know, 2009 or 10 or... No, it's probably closer to Reach. So maybe 2011, 12, something like that. They did a Halo 1 remake already. This is the second Halo remake. And they did the same thing last time where... And this is a fatal flaw in my opinion. When they remade Halo 1, they did not remake the multiplayer experience, which I don't understand why they are so hesitant. I kind of understand why, and we'll go over it. But the first time, what they did was they released a map pack of all these Halo 1 maps for Halo Reach, which was the current Halo game at the time. And the reasoning, I think, that they used then and maybe now is that they don't want to cannibalize the current Halo game population so they can sell this new one. The problem with that is, first off, nobody's playing Halo Infinite that I know, so Halo Infinite is kind of like, why would you care? So for the current game, it doesn't make sense. And for the second off, like, you know, for people who first experienced that original Halo game, part of it was the campaign, but also a big part of it was the multiplayer. I was hooked on Halo right away because of the multiplayer. I was playing with my friends. So I don't think it makes much sense for this remake or the previous remake to leave out the multiplayer, especially when it's a chance to go back and add online functionality to Halo 1, which has never, aside from Master Chief Collection, had an online mode. And yes, Master Chief Collection is great now, but it was shitty for a long time, and it's still, in my opinion, kind of shitty the way that they chopped up the menus and Frankenstein together this game. So it's like hard to just play Halo 1 in Master Chief Collection. There's 5, 6, whatever, 7 games in there, and it's hard to play just the game you want to play. Usually you end up playing one of the selected playlists, which has a range of games in there. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach, whatever, a million Halo games in there, and you end up playing a million Halo games. It's cool if you love all the Halo games, but if you just want to play fucking Halo 1, good luck, because it's probably not happening, man. I'm sorry. It's just annoying. You could do it in custom game lobbies, but Halo Master Chief Collection is annoying in a lot of ways to me, and it's because they destroyed these beautiful menu systems. They destroyed this beautiful UI and gutted it and gave us this kind of frankly ugly UI. Still to this day is ugly, even though they've redone it at least once. My dog is really getting annoyed that I'm talking about this. I'm getting annoyed that I'm talking about this yet again. All I'm saying is, Halo games were beautiful the way they were, and Master Chief Collection shit all over it, and the first Halo 1 remake wasn't that great, and they're repeating a lot of the same mistakes. And even if they're not using AI, some things that I have seen hardcore Halo fans talk about is that they're reusing art assets from Halo Infinite. So Halo Infinite takes place years after the first Halo game, and you might be like, who cares? But I care, and we care. The Halo fans care. So when you see like a Golden Elite in the trailer for this Halo remake, it's a Golden Elite model from Halo Infinite, which is set years and years after. So it would be like if you saw the Master Chief in that game, and he looked like the Master Chief from Halo Infinite, when it's a different character. I mean, they are the same guy, but they're 10, 20 years apart or whatever in the story. So people noticed this. And so a big part of it was like, oh, well, it's not actually running on Unreal 5 or whatever. It's the base game of Halo 1 running underneath a shell, which is the same thing they did the last time they remade it, to the point where you could just press a button and switch back to the old graphics, which is cool. It's novel, and they're saying, you know, they want to preserve the feel of the physics, which are really weird physics, and they want to preserve the scale and the scope of the game. Great. But what I really hear when I see them doing this is that we are lazy. They don't want to remake the game from the ground up because that's a lot of work and it's expensive. So they're doing the easy, cheap way out, in my opinion, and I don't fuck with that. You know, Halo 1 is a beautiful game. If you're gonna remake it, do it justice, and they're kind of just slapping a really nice coat of paint on it, but a lot of it is art assets, at least at the moment, that they've stolen from other modern Halo games, so it doesn't even look congruous, really. You know what I mean? And Halo 1 had a very specific look, a feel, an ambiance, a color palette, and I'm looking at this new game, and it's just not as colorful. I mean, like, maybe I'm just not seeing it yet. We'll get there, but I'm just frustrated. Like, I just still don't understand why you wouldn't just put the multiplayer in there. You know what I mean? They're saying it's because they're making a standalone multiplayer Halo game that will be like a continuous thing that they can develop and carry from game to game. And so I'm assuming from that, what that means is that Halo multiplayer is spinning off and it will become a service unto itself. And then Halo campaign games will become their own thing. And the gameplay won't really cross over aside from, maybe some common features or something. I don't really know how well that will pan out. I mean, Infinite is kind of already what it sounds like from, I played a little bit of it. I just don't think that's really the method for the madness here. I just wish it was like, the old days. You buy a game, you play it for a couple years, and then when the new one comes out, you move to the new one. And I don't know. It just feels like now everything has to be a live service. It has to be built to last. It has to last 5-10 years. We played Halo 3 for 3 years straight until Reach came out, 3 or 4 years. And then, that's a long time to play a game even back then, but there was so much stuff to do in that game, it could easily occupy that long. I feel like games now are about stretching the thinnest amount of content and making you run it over and over again, and not about supporting community features that breathe life into the game long term. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just frustrated. I think that the Halo 1 remake is lazy. I think a lot of people feel the same way. It just sucks because if this is supposed to be people putting their best foot forward, Xbox as a brand saying, hey, check out all these great games we got, remaking Halo 1 again just wasn't the sauce. I feel like what they should have done is remade Halo 3 and then maybe tossed in the Halo 1 remake, the Halo 2 remake that came in with Master Chief as a bonus game in there or something. The Master Chief Collection. Halo 2 Anniversary got completely buried, and it was just completely shit on. They packaged it so poorly. The marketing was so bad. I tried to play it online day one. I couldn't. So to me, it's just like they did a Halo 2 Anniversary, and like no one remembers it because they did it so badly in Master Chief Collection that it was just a big joke. That was the big selling point of Master Chief Collection at the time, was Halo 2 Anniversary, and it just didn't work. And it looks good, but again, it just kind of feels like the lazy way to do it, which is just slap, another engine on top of it that looks nice, but you're still playing Halo 2 in the fancy look. It's not a remake. It's, a remaster, if you want to get splitty hairs. So basically, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't feel great. It feels like they didn't put the money in that they could have. And I don't know. I think if you put in the money to make a really good Halo engine, you could make a Halo 1, 2, and 3 remake in that engine so easily and then sell like a Reach DLC. And I know at this point it's kind of like redundant because they've got Master Chief Collection, but they're the ones continuing to go back to Halo 1 and remake it over and over again. And it's like, we've got a Halo 2 remake. Nobody cared or remembered about it because they bungled it so bad. And we don't have a Halo 3 remake. So at the very least, I think I would have preferred a Halo 3 remake. We're coming up on the 20-year anniversary of that. Oh my God, I feel old. I can remember the day so clearly when Halo 3 came out. I went with my friend and his older brother to Best Buy. And there was like a special edition that came in like a big thick steel book, and it was like all scratched up. It was like a big internet controversy at the time, and I remember I told my friend he got that copy. I was like, open it right in the store in front of them. Sure enough, it was all scratched to hell, and he got another one right there. So I just remember there's a lot of things about Halo 1 or the Halo Originals trilogy that I remember fondly, and that's why it's so sad. I guess, I'm optimistic, like maybe, Xbox will survive on in some form in the future. It's just not going to be how I remember it. And, hopefully there's more games and better remakes in the future. I would love a Crackdown 1 remake. Even if it's crappy, I'll play the crap out of it. I don't know. So, I don't know. I guess that's just kind of where I'm at, is like the games that I want them to put a lot of effort in, they're not. And then the ones that I would be cool with them not putting a lot of effort in, just to show us, just let them release Scalebound Broken. Let them release the early access version of Perfect Dark. And if it doesn't do well, don't let them finish it. But at least release the game like Redfall or whatever. And then if it fails, you can pull it or whatever. But they're canceling games before they get done. We'll never get a chance to see what Scalebound or Perfect Dark or any of these mini games that are getting canceled and I think they're just going to move towards lazily remaking games, probably using AI for the rest of forever. They've got a ton of IP from the Activision buyout that they can make a million remakes. So yeah, it just kind of feels like we're in this holding pattern with both, like, Activision that got bought by Microsoft, EA. All of these companies are going back and remaking their old games, and very few of them are making a new original games with single player campaigns and fun multiplayer. I don't know. It's just you can see why Nintendo and Sony are doing well, because they're at least offering those experiences that people grew up playing, and you could just buy Donkey Kong Bonanza or Ghost of Yotei, and hopefully, in the future, if the servers ever go offline, you'll still be able to play those games. I think you will. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm tired of the constant remakes, especially the lazy ones that don't show any love. If you're just going to pull skins from, Halo Infinite and throw it into your Halo 1 remake, and it's the second time you've remade it, and it's lazy again, you're not even remaking it from the ground up. I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's hard not to be jaded about Xbox as a fan, because I think they could be doing so much more, and maybe eventually they will get there. But right now, it just feels like a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of people are, mad about how much money they've spent and are not now bringing in. I just think it's the beginning of the end for Western console makers, which sucks because, going forward, it'll be Sony and Nintendo, and it's all Japanese companies. And not to say that I don't love Japanese games, but it was nice to have a Western console maker in the space, showing what American game industry could do. And now it just shows what it can't do, which is keep up. Like, it can't utilize the IP they have, so instead they would rather just buy up a bunch of other studios and devs, close them down claiming redundancies, and then pick apart the IPs like vultures. So I don't know, man. I'm very jaded. I want to love Xbox, but it doesn't love me back. I think I've said pretty much everything I could say about it at this point. Halo 1 remake, totally not excited. I probably will not play it. It is designed for PlayStation people, right? And I think even in that regard, it is a poor choice. It's not even putting its best foot forward by remaking the game fully and making it this great experience we can't afford to miss out on. No, because if you can't wait to play Halo 1 remake, go play Master Chief Collection right now, and you can play basically the same experience with slightly less 4K graphics or whatever. So I guess that's where I'm at. I think let's end it on an optimistic note. I don't want to say that Xbox is dying. I think it's just becoming something else. In that metamorphosis, it might become a beautiful butterfly, or it might become like an ugly Mothra kaiju. You know what I mean? So, optimistically, I will say that, if in the future having done these things saves Xbox from going fully extinct, and that allows them to continue on as a brand, okay, I guess it's better than completely going away. Sega as they exist now is better than having no Sega. So that's kind of where I'm at. Is I don't want more people to lose their jobs. I'm negative about the state of things, but I also want people to succeed and be happy and be employed and make beautiful art. So yes, I'm going to try to be less negative, I guess, about that side of things, in that I think that the Xbox brand is salvageable. I think that there are good people there who want to make great things. They just are not being let to do so right now. So anyway, I play a little bit of the Battlefield 6 Red Sec Battle Royale because it's free. So if you want my thoughts on that, I could do a video on that. I'm still thinking about the Jet Set Radio remake video. I want to do some other videos, but guys, what do you think about Xbox right now? I don't think they're making many great moves. People were so hyped for this Halo announcement, and I think I just felt all the air get sucked out of the room when it got totally overshadowed by the PlayStation announcement, which had been rumored for years. But I think the fact that it's just real just kind of really just brings it all home, and you're just like, man, I don't know, man. I remember 20 years ago, in the height of the console war, Halo was the one thing you could always bring up that would make Sony people mad. And now it's just like another thing to add in the list of Xbox throwing away to make a little money. So, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. Xbox PC, maybe it'll be amazing. Hey, you know what? If they go that route for the next Xbox, maybe when my Xbox disk drive dies, I'll be able to just buy my own instead of them charging me $300. Maybe the hardware won't be so completely overpriced and faulty. Do you think possibly things could work out for the consumer in that regard? Probably not. But like I said, I'm trying to be optimistic. Maybe my crappy, dusty Xbox from the middle of the pandemic that is holding on for dear life 5 years later, maybe the next one will be better because it'll be more PC-like, right? And that means I'll be able to swap out the disk drive, and I won't have to pay $300 to Microsoft. It's probably even more now. I haven't even asked them. I bet you the price went up. Anyway, rant over. I love you guys. Kiss, kiss. Yeah, I'm thinking about new videos ideas, so let me know in the comments what do you think about Xbox, Halo Remake, and the state of games. Peace!